So we're going to sit in Sukhasana. If you like sitting in Sukhasana, it doesn't really matter. We want to have access to our face and our nose. We're going to start with a little Nadi Shodhana, which is our alternate nostril breathing. So start by finding a comfortable seat, even if that means sitting on the edge of your bed or sitting in a chair, whatever feels the most effortless is what we're going to shoot for. And then I'm going to mirror. So I'll actually be working with my left hand, but you're going to go right hand if you prefer, if you're, especially if you're right hand dominant, but right hand is where you're going to, the hand that you're going to use preferably. Just for a second, before we even hit that Nadi Shodhana, take a second to just close your eyes down, soften your shoulders down, just take a nice big Monday breath, big giant inhale, and then exhale and just kind of let it all go. And then let your shoulders be sort of soft, let your hands be sort of soft, and just tune in for a moment here and notice how your body feels. And now tonight for our Nadi Shodhana, for that alternate nostril breathing, if you like, you're going to go thumb and ring finger. Those are going to be the two fingers that are going to help distribute the breath. So one nostril will close and then the other. And then how you choose to take your index finger and middle finger, you might choose to just kind of tuck it in towards the palm, or you'll place those two fingers at your third eye center. Again, that's just comfort, what feels the best to you. So find a nice, comfortable, upright seat. Just for a second, get a little bit taller through the crown of your head. And then right hand is going to start with the thumb. So your thumb is going to close off your nostril. You're going to take a nice full inhalation. Pinch the nose closed. Open the thumb side and exhale. Inhale, thumb side. Pinch the nose closed. Hold the breath for a moment. Release the other side and exhale. Inhale through the open side. Pinch the nose closed, hold it for a moment, and then open the thumb side and exhale. And then from here, you're going to take that at a rhythm that works good for you. And I'm just going to set a timer for 1 minute. So you're going to breathe at your own breath pattern. If alternating the nostrils feels like it's a little bit much for your mind or for your body tonight, then you might choose to just keep one nostril closed and breathe in and out through that open side. So you're going to either alternate your breathing or you're going to just stay with one side. That'll be totally up to you, but I'm just going to set the clock for 1 minute and you're going to just take that breath at your pace. Take one more cycle through of breath. And then once you've completed those cycles of breath, stack both hands on top of your heart and just come back to breathing in through both sides of the nose. And then before we move away from this place of stillness, just take a moment to set an intention here to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Awesome. And then with that intention set, gently open your eyes. We're going to start right away into a melting heart or puppy pose. So come on to all fours, knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. Take a second to find your tabletop position. And then you're going to start to walk your hands forward to the depth that you like. Hands as wide as your yoga mat or slightly in. That's just going to depend on what position feels the most comfortable to your upper body. And then take a second to find your way there. with a little sense of softness. So I like to let my elbows touch down to the ground. If that's available for you, that might be a route that you choose. You can also take your stack of pillows if you decided to bring them along, and you might place them out in front of you and bring it into a little bit more of an elevated melting heart pose. So any little variation that might feel good to you. But then once you've found the work that you like the best, take the time here to soften. Notice your heart melting down, or that front space of your heart melting down towards the floor. And then see if you can just tune in and notice your breath there. We've got about a minute left in this posture here. So if you've started to get a little fidgety or wanting to move on to that next pose, just take a minute to come back to that heart space. Notice that heart space melting down towards the floor. Notice the movement of breath in the front of your chest. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly come back up to tabletop position, but we're going to move right into our next pose. So coming up, we're just going to move right into child's pose. So big toes together, knees together, pull your butt back towards your heels. But if you like, add in a yoga block or a pillow and place it right in front of where your forehead is going to land, so that if you like, slide your hands back, touch the soles of your feet, and then just make sure you're breathing comfortably here. So for some of us, that child's pose just creates a little bit too much compression on the belly and the chest. And that being the case, you might choose to move your knees a little bit wider. But if it feels okay to be there and it's comfortable enough, it creates that nice positive stress. So we were just in heart melting pose or puppy pose. That was your back bend. And this is just that counter stretch, that rounding through the back of the body. Now see if you can tune in and notice your breath in that back of your heart space. So think back of the ribs and in between the shoulder blades. We've got about a minute left in our pose here, so just check in, make sure everything is still feeling good. Noticing the breath through the back of the body, feeling that little bit of tension maybe around the knees or in your glutes or in your low back. Those are the places where you might be feeling a little bit of sensation of stretch. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly come up and out. So you might choose to come through a tabletop position if that feels like a good way to come out. But any other way, we're going to move right into a deer seat. So we're going to zigzag our legs. So I'm going to spin around to face the camera, but you come into this in any way that feels good to you. One leg in front, one leg out to the side, and then you're going to kind of choose your own adventure here as to what feels the best to you. You might choose to fold it forward, especially if your hips want that little bit of work in the outer edges of the front hip. That might be a place to find it. Or you're going to lean back and away from the posture. So if you feel good about it, you're going to lean back and away, and you're going to come slightly out at an angle, and the leg that's out to the side, you're going to find some stretch through that front quadricep and into that front pocket area. So that might be another variation that feels good. So you play around with whether a folded position or leaning back into it feels good. And then you'll just want to mirror that on the other side. So choose which position feels good, leaning back or folding forward. And then once you found your way there, take a few minutes to just settle into your breath. Nice, generous inhale. Now, if you picked one position and you get there and you feel like that's not really where you want to be, you always have the option to just switch over the other way. So if you're leaned back and you're like, it doesn't feel great, you can always fold forward or take any other variation that feels nice to you. We've got about a minute left and hold on this side. So just check in, make sure everything is still feeling good. You're breathing comfortably, a nice slow inhalation and a slower exhalation. Take one more breath. And then if you are folded forward, come up nice and slow and controlled. If you're lean back, come up nice and slow and controlled. And now we're going to keep that leg that's in front. That's going to stay down on the ground. And we're going to swing the outer leg over and across. So we're going to set up right into our shoelace. And the positioning of the legs is purely so that we just keep our legs in order. So the leg that was in front, that's going to be the bottom leg. If you get here and the shoelace is like, no, not the posture for you, you might go half shoelace, and you might choose to just extend the bottom leg nice and long. So find the position of your shoelace that feels good to you, but we're going to take it into a twist, and then you're going to decide which way you want to rotate. I personally like to rotate towards the front knee so I can just kind of leverage my arm against that front leg, but that might not feel good to you. So you might choose to twist the other direction. You'll choose the twist, the side that you twist that feels good, but then you'll again want to mirror that on the other side. And then once you've got the twist that feels good, you're going to drop your ear towards your shoulder. So it's going to be shoelace pose with the legs, a rotation with the torso, and then a little stretch to the side of the neck. So let your ear drop in, and then see if you can just come back to your breath awareness. Notice your inhalation and notice your exhalation. We're about halfway through our hold on this side, so make sure everything is still feeling good. You're breathing comfortably. If that head tilt doesn't feel like it's beneficial at this point, you can always opt to leave that part off. But if everything is feeling good, just keep it as soft and loose as you can. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself out. So if your head is tilted, start by releasing there. Unwind your twist. We're going to lean into the sits bones, swing your legs out in front of you, and then just take a couple of nice big windshield wipers, just moving some things around. Move your knees, move your toes, move your ankles, anything that may have come across, anything that might have come unstuck as you loosen the legs up. And then once you feel like you've kind of worked some things out, you're going to take it to the other side. So you're going to start by finding your deer seat or your zigzag seat. And then same thing on this side that you did on the other side. So if you opted for a fold, take it into your fold. If you opted to lean back, take it into that lean back. How far you go back, that's just totally up to you, whatever feels the most comfortable. I like finding that little sensation through the front of my quadricep muscles in the front pocket area. You might choose to play around with where you find a good sensation that feels right to you. And then once you're there, just take a second to kind of soften into that shape and come back to your breath. We're about halfway through our hold on this side, so just tune in and notice. If you've gotten into a shape and things aren't feeling good, you always have the option to readjust or come out. But if all is feeling good, just stay nice and steady, noticing your breath. Take one more breath here. And then if you're folded forward, bring yourself back up. If you're leaned back, take your time as you come back up. And then that leg that's in front, that's the leg that's going to be your bottom of your shoelace. So you might choose to swing that leg over and across or rearrange your legs in a way that works best for you. How you come into the pose is just what feels the most comfortable to you. If that double shoelace doesn't feel good, release the bottom leg and see how that feels. Once you've got your way here, you're going to find that alternating rotation. So find the twist opposite of what you did on the other side. And then once you found your twist, if it feels good to do so, you're going to drop the ear in towards the shoulder. And then once you found all of that, just come back to your breath. Nice big inhale, soften a little bit on your exhale. We're halfway through our hold on this side, so just check in, make sure your neck feels comfortable. If you need to release the neck stretch, take the time to do that. But if all is feeling good, stay with that soft and heavy position, just noticing your inhalation, noticing your exhalation. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, if your head is tilted over, bring your head up first. Unwind, lean back into your sits bones, and then uncross your legs, swish the knees around, find any little bit of movement, maybe even shrug your shoulders, move your head just a little bit. And then once you feel like you've kind of worked some of that stuff out, we're gonna come to our next posture. Hero's posture or thunderbolt pose, if you like. So I'm gonna show you a couple different variations just to find what feels best to you. So big toes together, heels are gonna come out, and you're gonna either just sit back into that little seat that your feet have created. That's one way to get there. Or you're gonna take a block or your pillows, and you're gonna place it right between your feet, so that it's just gonna create a little bit more space. So for some of us who have cranky knees, it might feel better to just offer that little bit of lift up, bringing the floor up to meet you. So there's your seated posture, whichever variation feels good. I personally can sit comfortably in my feet because my knees allow me to. But then what we're really shooting for here is a seat that allows us to bring prayer hands behind the back, and that's where we're going to stay. Don't worry if your prayer hands don't meet. Any little catch behind the back of the body. So if you grab hold of your elbows, even if you grab hold of your wrists, what we're bringing into play here is an opening through the chest and the collarbones. So find your seat. And then once you've found your seat, prayer hands behind the back or any other variation that feels good to you there. And then see if you can just let your shoulders relax, let your ribs relax. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start by releasing your hands. So especially if you had those prayer hands all the way together behind the back, take a second to really let it go. Release your wrists, wiggle your fingers, move your elbow joint a little bit, shrug out your shoulders. And then when you feel ready, we're going to float our way up into a tabletop position and just slide your right leg nice and long with the toes curled under, push back into the heels, just create a little space through the back of that leg. Awesome. And then when you're ready, switch to the other side. Slide the left leg back, toes curled under, push back into the heel, create a little length in the back of that leg. Nice. And then from here, we're going to move right into our next posture, which is called overstepping dragon. So we're going to step the right leg forward, but then we're going to sink into our lunge just a little bit different. Normally we take our knee and we kind of stack it on top of the ankle and we don't really go past that point. But tonight we're going to go into it a little bit deeper. So we're going to really let that knee come way past the toes or come past the toe just as much as feels good to you. The nice thing about this is there's a lot of forward body weight. So it's not like you're bringing that big hip lunge. So for some of us, this might feel good, but if you get there and that is an absolute no-no for your knees, you're going to flip over onto your backside and you're just going to hug the knee into the chest. So you're going to get a very similar sensation without the pressure of your body weight on that leg. So if you come to that lunge and you're like, no thanks, or your knee is like, no thank you, then flip over onto your backside. But if it feels okay to be here, overstepping dragon. So the knee comes past the toe, the body weight is slightly forward. And then you just want to make sure that back knee feels soft and comfortable. So if you need to take your pillow or a blanket and tuck it under that back knee so it feels cushioned. And then once you've got your lunge and you're feeling like, okay, this is good, and I can stay here, come back to your breath. Take a nice big inhalation. And as you exhale, think about letting your shoulders get a little softer and release any tension that you might be holding in your jaw. We're a little over halfway through our hold on this side, so just tune in and notice. Make sure everything feels good. You're still breathing comfortably. Make sure that front knee feels safe and comfortable. And if you notice, because we've got that knee forward, we're creating a little bit of compression in the front of the ankle and a little bit of tension or stress on that back of the Achilles tendon. So there's just a slight variation here of work that's happening. So if you notice that work there, see if you can just soften your front foot and soften your ankle just a little bit more. Take one more breath here. And then to soothe our way out of this pose, we're going to pull the hips back and then just take a couple little forwards and backs. Like we're coming forward and back in our half splits. We're just going to kind of move the hip around, move the knee around, move the front ankle around just a little bit. If you were on your backside, take a couple of kicks of that leg up and down. But then when you're ready, we're going to set all of that up to the other side. So either switch feet if you're laying on your back, or switch your feet if you're on your front. But then we're going to come into that nice overstepping position. So let the knee come past the toes, and then your hands are going to help support the rest. One side might feel a little different than the other, so make sure it feels good enough, supported, and that back knee wants to feel comfortable and cushioned. So find all of those little places where you can create some comfort care for yourself, and then see where you can relax. Soften into this as much as you can. Soften your jaw. We're halfway through our pose on this side, so just notice how everything's feeling. If you ever get into one of these positions and you're like, dang, I should have taken the one on my backside instead, you always have the option to flip over. So make sure that you feel like it's a sustainable position to be in. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly start to come out. So if you're in that downward facing lunging position, take it into some half splits. If you're laying on your back, take a couple of kicks of the legs. Now the next posture we're going to get into is a camel. It's a back bend, but we're only going to stay there for 1 minute because it is a little bit of a stronger and more active pose. So when you feel ready, slide that front leg back or come up to a high kneel position. So coming up to a high kneel. Now, how far you choose to go with your camel, that'll be totally up to you. But like I said, it's an active position and requires a little bit of strength. So you might choose to just stay, knees about hip width distance apart, hands into the back pockets, hips forward, heart lifts just slightly, and your chin tucks to your chest. That will probably be about the softest version of this. But if you're like, I just want a big, big back bend, you're going to start by curling the toes under, lean back, find your heels, push your hips forward, squeeze between the shoulder blades. Now, if that feels great and you're like, I'm super bendy, I could take this camel pose for days, then you're going to release the toes and take it into that bigger posture. So we've got 1 minute on the clock. You're going to choose the variation that you like the best. You can even be in that high kneel with the hands in the back pockets with the toes curled under. That could also be a method that feels comfortable to you. So find your variation and then take a second to find it is a stronger posture, but can you relax your glute muscles just a little bit? Relax through your heart space just a little bit. Make sure you're breathing with ease. So no matter what depth you went to, if you're not breathing comfortably, if you can't take a nice full inhalation and a slow exhalation, you may have gone a little too deep. Take one more breath. And then with control, come up and out. So if you're way down and your hands are on your heels, take your time, find that strength and control, and then bring yourself into that tabletop position. We're just going to bop the hips a little side to side, like you're trying to drop the sides of your hips or the sides of your butt towards the ground. Awesome. Take one more bop of the hips side to side, and then we're going to spin it around so we're sitting onto our butt, and we're going to take it right into a forward fold. So how long you want your legs to be, that's just going to be what feels really comfortable to you. Straight legs, if you can manage it tonight, is going to just be that preferred method, but you can bend your knees a lot. You can step your feet nice and wide. Any other variations so that you feel really comfortable in it, that if you can keep your legs straight, that might change how deep you fold. So you're going to fold forward just to a point that feels like a little bit of a stretch in the low back, not too much shooting pain up into your glutes. So make sure that it feels like it's a good enough position to be in. And then once you're there, just soften over your thighs, soften your shoulders, soften your jaw. If at any point you lose sensation and feel like you want to fold a little bit further forward, you take it to the depth that feels good to you. Just make sure that you're staying safe and breathing comfortably. We're halfway through our hold here. So if you feel like you've folded too far forward and things are getting a little bit too compressed, you might choose to come up and out. But if you feel like you've lost some sensation, you might choose to fold a little further into it. So you choose to go as deep as feels right to you, maintaining that good control of breath and the ability to soften best you can. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up and out of that fold. And then as you come up and out of that fold, step your feet in and then grab your knees and take it into some light cat-cows, just to kind of soothe the spine. Bring a little bit of fluid movement back in. Nice. And then once you feel like you've kind of worked some stuff out and your back feels good, we're going to come down onto our backside and we're going to take it into a supine butterfly. So we're going to come down onto our back, pick your knees up, but we're going to externally rotate the knees and see if you can catch hold of your feet. And you're going to kind of bring the soles of the feet together to the best of your ability. So you're going to get a handhold that works good for you, whatever that means. So you might come underneath, wrap your hands around and support the inner thighs. You're going to either grab holds of the tops of the feet. So find a handhold that feels sustainable. Your hands will do a little bit of efforting to hold and maintain this position. And then you're just going to kind of let your heels get heavy towards your groin. You're going to let the knees be as comfortable as they can be. And then see, where can you soften here? Can you let your belly get soft? Can you let your shoulders soften? We've got just a little over a minute left in this posture here. So kind of notice how things are feeling. If you feel like you've lost a little sensation, you might choose to pull your feet a little closer towards your heart space. Or if things are feeling a little bit too intense, you might choose to soften your grip a little bit and even maybe allow your feet to separate. So anything that you need to do so that you feel like you're still pretty happy here, fairly comfortable, and are able to breathe in and out with ease. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to take it into walk on the ceiling. So release your handhold from your feet, float your feet up towards the ceiling, and you're just going to invite some gentle movement in, like you're walking your feet on the ceiling, bending your knee a little bit, and then pushing through the other foot. Nice. Take one more little walk on the ceiling, and then you're going to pull the right knee into your chest. Let your left leg go nice and long. We're going to take a light supine twist. So you're just going to take that right knee, bring it over and across the body. Take one gentle breath. And then right away, bring it back in, and we're going to switch to the other side. Left knee is going to pull into the chest. Right leg is going to go nice and long. Supine twist to the other side. Bring that leg over and across in a gentle way. So you don't even need to go to your full breath of the expression that you can do. And then once you're there, just take one nice breath. Beautiful. And then pull the knee back into the chest. Both knees are going to hug into the chest. One light little squeeze. And then we're going to take those knees, draw them in circles, go in one direction. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Awesome. And then we're going to set the feet down, toe heel your feet out to a width that feels good to you, and take it back into some windshield wipers, letting the knees drop side to side. How far you go, just whatever feels good to you. Nice. Take one more drop of the knees side to side, and then let your legs come into constructive rest. Knees are going to drop in towards each other. Arms are going to come into that I dream of Genie arms, or that square across the chest, and then start to pull the elbows gently side to side. Wonderful. One more little pull of the elbows side to side, and then the arm that's slightly on top, it's going to slide across. So now we're going to stack the elbows and grab hold of the shoulders. And then as you inhale, elbows are going to lift gently towards your face. And then as you exhale, elbows are going to pull gently down towards the belly button. Inhale and lift your elbows up. Exhale, draw the elbows down. One more time. Inhale, lift your elbows up. Exhale, draw the elbows down, and then elbows are going to find that neutral position, and we're going to switch to the other hand being slightly on top. So find your I Dream of Genie arms first. Pull the elbows gently side to side. Awesome. And then when you're ready, as you come through center, slide those hands across so the elbows get stacked. Catch hold of the shoulders. Inhale, lift your elbows up toward your face. Exhale, pull the elbows down toward your belly button. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Do that one more time. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down, and then arms are going to come through neutral into cactus or goalpost position. So open your arms nice and wide, and then once you've got your arms in a good position, turn your head gently side to side. Nice. One more turn of the head side to side, and then start to ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Does it feel good to stay in constructive rest and maybe let your arms get rearranged in a way that feels good? Or does it feel good? You want to come to reclined cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. Or maybe you take that more traditional shape. If your back is feeling happy and that feels like a nice place to be, you can also roll over onto one side, flip over onto your belly, or maybe you just choose to come up into a seated position right away. So you choose a place that feels like you can find a stillness that makes sense to you. And then give your body a second to find your way into it. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel called to do so, and you're ready to reawaken, start to gently wake up your limbs, wiggle your fingers, gently move your toes, invite some movement into the wrists and the ankles, and then take any other movements here that allow you to reawaken in a way that feels nice. And then maybe if it feels really good to do so, you'll take it into a big good morning stretch, stepping your feet long, reaching your arms up and overhead. Take a nice big breath back into your body. And then in your own way and at your own pace, find your way up to a comfortable seated position. We're going to finish with a little Ganesha mudra. So just like a hand position. So we just want the ability to place our hands in front of our heart space. So whatever gets you there and allows you to sit up nice and tall. And then in order to find Ganesha mudra, we're going to bring the palms of the hands together, but then we're going to flip so that the fingers are pointing away from each other. So palm to palm, but the fingertips flip. And then we're going to pull the fingers in and curl them in on each other. So once you've got that little curled in position, we're going to stack those hands right in front of the heart. Now, which one's on top? That's just whatever feels the most comfortable to you. But once you've got your hands in front of your heart, close your eyes down just for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in, a little tug on the fingers so you feel your arms nice and active. So Ganesha being the destroyer of obstacles, but can also be the creator of obstacles. So there's a fine nice little catch-22 for you. So think about anything that might be approaching you this week and any obstacles that might be in your way, and see if you can just set an intention to approach the obstacles of the week with love. Soften your grip just a little bit. Let your elbows relax. Take one more breath. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head. Gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Monday. You guys are amazing.